the spirit of wellbeing and coming together, Narraganawali, we'd like to acknowledge those members of the stolen generations from across the many nations that are here with us today. We share your pain, we share your love for our people, and understand that this breakfast is an important lest we forget for our people.
We must look back to the weight of the national apology to the stolen generations, and we also need to look forward to work together to tackle with far more vigour and unity this country's unfinished business.
I particularly want to welcome the survivors who honour us with your presence here this morning. You found within yourselves the strength to turn your suffering into a chance of a better Australia. And make no mistake, when that apology was made, you not only provided a moment of healing for yourselves, you created a better Australia.
I did not inflict the trauma of separation on myself, and without the immediate and necessary care meant the trauma was left to take over my life. And it's not so easy to just simply forget.
Today, you're sitting here and you're thinking, this is something that happened so long ago, and, you know, surely there has been movement, but it's incremental. We're here. Today, the most important people are my stolen generations people.
The journey of healing can only happen by what we're doing here now, is by talking. We want the right to have the resources to rebuild our family structures. We want the right to that. That was taken away from us when we got removed from our families, got removed from our love. I want that right back for my family to be able to function a little bit better in the colonised country that we're living in now.
For the survivors of the stolen generation and their families, it's only fair that we acknowledge the harm done and provide compensation for the suffering they endured. Compensation isn't just about money, it's about recognising the deep pain caused and restoring the dignity and value of Indigenous cultures. It's time for the whole nation to step up and support these survivors in a meaningful way.
One of the most important and outstanding considerations is equal redress for all survivors. Australia must act on this before it's too late. A lot of survivors have missed out on compensation as they've already passed away. The timelines are too short or they don't meet the criteria. We must act on the recommendations the Healing Foundation has released around the unfinished business of the Bringing Them Home report, and that's the report that's been released.
This breakfast is a reminder that the flame that was lit then still burns, and those mountains will be moved. Maybe not as soon as we would like, maybe not as fast as it was imagined would happen on that day. But as we gather on this morning, and we remember what was in our hearts on that day, it is a moment to really believe that reconciliation will happen and the gap will be closed.
Our ability to rise above all that dares to just keep us down, to pull us down, to create a sense in us that we're not worthy, to develop a deep feeling in us that we shouldn't be here. And yet there's something amongst our people, universally around this country and around the world as First Nations people, where we strive and thrive, and we're still here.
17 years ago, our nation took an important step. The National Apology for the Stolen Generations was a moment of truth-telling and healing for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. It was also a moment of honest reflection for those who had not experienced it, to understand the impact that these policies had and the inequalities faced within the nation. It wasn't just a moment, it was the marking of the next step, a commitment to take the opportunity to do better.
There's plenty of work to do. The apology was never the end, it was only the beginning. The apology goes hand in hand with closing the gap. They are inseparable. They are two sides of the one coin. But the apology wasn't inevitable, and neither is closing the gap. Progress is happening before our eyes precisely because across our society, people are working to make it happen. So we honour those who led the way in the past, and we gain hope and inspiration from those who are now lifting up the torch for the first time.
You're all here. You're part of the solution moving forward. And at your tables are survivors. And to have them tell their story, because we cannot forget, we cannot continue to repeat the mistakes that impact intergenerational trauma right through to our youth.